Right, in this clip we're going to show you how to use the effects generator. So I'm just going to get my creativity toys up. But the first thing I'm going to go to is where I want the effects to appear. So I'm going to use a thing called a locator. So I'll just flick across here and grab one of those little blue little star things. This is where I want the effect to occur. So this is a pinpoint where I want the effect to go, and I want it to be up in the air. So I'm just going to move it up in the air. So position it there. Make sure it's off the ground so we can see the effect. Okay. Right, then I'm going to scroll across and look for me effects generator. I always think it's special effects, but it's not. It's called the effects generator, right? And I'm going to place that down on the ground, and I'm going to stick that there. Oops, too far. Okay. Okay, move back a bit. Okay, that's my effects generator. And then the last thing I need is some sort of trigger or button to activate the effect. So I'll move the button there, twist it round, and when we press that button it's going to create an effect. Okay, so I've now got this button here on the screen. So get my wand out using the arrow key. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to select my button. So I'm going to aim here, press the button, new logic when you do press. I'm going to hit this effects generator. I'm just going to play it once. I can have it on continuous loop or whatever, but I'm just going to just play it once so I can see the effect. So press play once, and it gives you the type of effects you want: spinning, small, large explosion, small. So I'm going to do large explosion, flaring, quick burst, or bomb explosion. So I'm going to pick bomb explosion, and that's going to blow up. Now the question there is, where do I want this to appear? So I'm going to now reselect my effects generator, but this time choose a logic. Sorry, not logic, a location connector, and I'm going to tell it I want the explosion to appear in that location. Okay, so that is where the effects is going to occur in that particular point. So if I go and press the button now, the explosion will appear above my head, which I can't see. So in fact, let me just get back my wand out again, and what I'm going to do is move the button. So I'm going to use my arrow key, press the X button, and just bring the button forward a bit so I can see it from a distance. Click onto there. So if I circle out of here now, when I press that button, you'll see the explosion blow up where I want it to appear. Now what you can do also here is, if I get back to my tool, I don't have to have one explosion, I can have multiple explosions. So if I go back to my locator, let's put a couple more of these up. So I'm just going to move this up in the air. Okay, and then I'm going to move another one here. So we've got a few of them are lying around anyway. So it's a bigger explosion on the screen. So I pressed the wrong button there. Okay, so now I've got these three locators. So what I'm going to do now is point back to my control, hit the effects generator, press my square button, but don't choose logic connection, choose locator connection. Okay, now point to the two new ones I've just added and tell it I want the effects to be located there. Do the same again, point to my effects generator first, then go to logic connection, and I'm going to point to the third one. Okay, and that's where I want my effects to be located. So if I come off there now, so come back out, if I now take my wand off and go back to my button, if I turn around, instead of in the button, when I click that now, I'll get 3 explosions appearing. Every time I press it, the explosion will appear. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to delete this all out, and I'm going to blow up the Avengers Tower, and that's using the effects. So that's how the tool works. So now I'm going to use a combination of other tools to give this special effect that I've just flown up the Avengers Tower. So let me just get rid of all these items and we will start from scratch. Right, hold on. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start from fresh. So we're going to bring in a replay tool. I've shown these on a couple of other clips, but obviously what this does is this records things that you've done. So you put this replayer tool in, and I'm going to need some buttons to control this. Okay. So I'm going to create 4 buttons, and on this replay button does, it just basically, it's like a video recorder. So I'm just going to create the 4 buttons to control the replayer tool. and then 4 buttons to control the other replayer. Now I need 2 replayers. One is going to be the record me building the Avengers Tower, and the other one's going to show me what's left of it once it's been blown up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a connection, a logic connection on that pad, that when I step on it by any player, I'm going to go to my replayer and I want it to restart recording whatever I want to do. You've got a number of choices, but I'm going to say, can you record whatever I do? On this button here, the new logic connection, when I step on it, I want you, by any player, I want you to stop recording. Yeah, so I've got to set this all up. This toy's a little bit annoying. I'm amazed it doesn't come as a preset, or it might do and I've missed it. So when I step on this one, I want to clear anything I've done, so point to my controller. I want to clear whatever I've done here on the screen, and then when I click onto the final button, yeah, by any player on my controller, I actually want to play back what I've done. Okay, so now that I've got that in place, what I'm going to do now is set the other buttons up. So on this one here, same thing again. When I step on, I'm going to record it. Now the reason why I need 2 of these replayers is one, like I mentioned, is going to record me building the Avengers Tower, and the other replayer is going to record me building all the rubble. So when the Avengers Tower blows up, I'm going to make it disappear and be replaced with all the building blocks, so it looks like it's all crumbled to the ground. Now you can spend more time on this, but this is obviously an example, so I have rushed this, but to show you all roughly the tools that you need to do to get this effect to work. So I'm going through making sure I've done exactly the same as the previous one. I set the start recording, the stop recording, the clear what I've done, and then the playback. So the last logic connection, and I set the last one back here, and I'm going to play back my option. Right, now that I've got those set up, right, I can now get the item recording. So I'm going to go to the first one and I'm going to choose record. So I'm going to walk onto that one. So as I walk on, I'm still in one now, you'll see the red light comes on, it's now recording. I get extra try. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look for the Avengers Tower, which I think comes under one of these settings. Let's see if I can find it. This could be the longest thing here on the screen. Building sets, oh, there it is, Avengers Tower. So I always forget how big this actual building is. Right, so where am I going to stick it at? That's the wrong place for actually where I want it to go. I'm going to twist that back round. I'm going to put it in the bottom corner. Okay, I'm going to stick it there. So there's the Avenger Tower. I just need to line that back up on the box. Right, that's the building now set up. Okay, so we've got that done. So if you watch now, if I stop recording, that replay is now finished. If I clear what I've done, when I click onto that, the building just got blown up. Okay, and I can replay it to get it back on the screen. So what I'm going to have to do now is clear it and pretend I've just blown it up. So press the clear button, not the playback. And now I need to do the next stage of the. So what I'm doing now is going to the next box, the editing that just goes on screen, and I'm now going to record me putting in bricks instead. So I'm going to press my tab pad up, and then you'll see under one of the building sets there are these bricks. So I'm just going to lower that down, and I'm going to scatter a load of bricks all over the place. Now, like I say, I'm rushing this, so to try, but again, it's just give you an idea how cool you can try and make the effect look. A couple of tower blocks of bricks. Obviously, it's a big building, so I may want loads of bricks to appear. So I'm trying to give the effect that the building's like, but I'm rushing that down. But everything I'm doing now is being recorded. So as soon as I stop recording, I can clear what I've done and then get it to play back. So that should be enough. So let's stop recording. So if I hit the stop button, that's now done. So if I clear it, the item disappeared. And if I play it back, it will reappear as if all the rumbles just appeared on the screen. Okay? So that section is done. That is now ready for the building to blow up and to clear up on the screen. In fact, before I do that, actually, I need to clear it off. So let's clear it again. Let's clear it, and let's put the building back into place. So let's go on the first button. So the building is now set up. Now I'm ready to do the effects of when I press that button, I can now blow this building up. So I need a few other tools now. Now I've got the effect occurring. I'm going to go through my list and I'm going to bring up one of these other toys. Let's go back to my creativity toys. I always miss it. Where is it? Must have gone past it. Right. Now in this section, what I'm going to be using now is I'm going to use the effects. So use the time delay is the one I want. That's the one. I want a time delay. So when I press the button, it's got like a countdown of 3 seconds. So you press that button, time delay will go off in 3 seconds, and then it will blow up. Okay. And then obviously I need the effects generator because I want to look like it all blows up. So I'm going to put my effects generator here. So after my 3 second goes, it will then start the effects going. And the other one I need also is, we'll have some other effect with it. We will have a sound effects of the building blowing up. Okay. Sorted. Okay. Now the other thing I'm going to need is I want these explosions to occur. So I'm going to get my locators, which you saw in my earlier example, and I'm now going to move these all around near the building. So let's me just pin these around the building. Now obviously you can spend time on these. This is just to get you an idea of roughly how you get the building to blow up. Okay, we'll have them different height. Now, as I say, I forgot how big this building was, so I'm not going to do it all, but we could have them all in different places. Yeah. So I've got these explosions here occurring. Right. So now that we've got those set up, we need to tell our effects generator to, can you now go and make all your effects appear in those locators. So I'm now going to have to go onto the effects generator, go to new locator connection and point to every single one of these. So as you'll see, I click onto here, click on my locator, yeah, and enter effect. And I'm going to have to do the same again for another one. So I'm going to go down to new locator connection, go to the second one. And that's where I also want the effects location to be, but I need to do it for all of them. So give me a while I just set this all up on all these. See, I'm going through each one of these, setting these locations up. So again, new location connection, pointing all these through. Now, like I say, if you want to make the effect look good, there'll be a lot more of these I would use, and it takes a while to set up this effect. And like I'm saying, I'm rushing this through just to give you the type of, so you can see how I've combined these tools together. But it's a cool little idea. So go to the next one. Also got to try and remember which ones I've done. 3 more to go. Let's lick this one. Now you could, if you wanted to, have different effects generator with different types of explosions, so you could have 3 or 4 different things going off at the same time. So you could have an explosion and an asteroid cloud at the same time, but you'd have to have different locators for the different items. You can put them side by side so they all combine themselves, but again, it's how the time you've got to build it and create it. So I think we've done the last one yet. There we go. Right, so we've got the effects generated, so that's where that now knows where to put all the explosions. Right. So what we're going to do now here is that obviously when we press the button there's a timer. So this is a time delay. So on this one I'm just going to go to the properties. And I'm going to say, right, I'm going to give it 3 seconds. Count down to 3, 3, 2, 1, and then the whole thing's going to blow up. You could do it, there's a delay on it at all. But on 3 it'll blow that particular item up. Okay. So what we're going to do is say, right, when that new logication, when that delay is completed, I want you to set off my special effects. and I'm going to play it continuously. So we're playing a loop now, these effects, until told otherwise. Yeah, I could stop the effects, but I will say no, don't play it once, because I need it to look like everything's exploding. So play it in a loop. What do you want? I want large explosions. You've got different types, but large explosions, and I'll go for the bomb explosion. Yeah, so large explosions, and it once that 3 seconds is up, it will carry on blowing up all the time throughout the screen. Now, what I need also then is, how do I stop it? Because once the explosion's finished, they'll down. So I'm going to do another time delay. So I'm going to bring another time delay in. Just choke that, it doesn't matter where that goes. And when you do the game, you can hide these ones out of the way. You can move them out of the way. Let's go to the properties of that. Okay, now the properties of this is, we want this to be after the explosion. So if we look at the properties of this box, the properties was for 3 seconds. So in that case then, I'm going to have to wait 3 seconds. So if I go to properties of this item, so let's just move down. So what I've got to take into account, the 3 seconds, so 1, 2, 3, the thing starts blowing up. How I want it to blow up for probably about another 5 seconds of it blowing up, and then this will come, the time will be up, so 8 seconds in total. So once that's done, so that's roughly giving us 5 seconds of explosions. When the delay is complete, I now want you to go to my effects generator and stop the effect, so stop the explosions. Okay, so 3 seconds kicks it off, 5 seconds switches the item off. Now another thing I need with this time delay is that when you start it, so when new logic connection and the delay is complete, so that means it's now blowing up, I might as well add the sound effects of the explosion. So let's go into there, click onto my thing, and then again we've got various different types of items we can choose, and really play around with this to listen to different sound effects that you've got. And I missed the one that I wanted. The one I want at the top there is going to be action. Where is it? There it is, action, and we'll have a few others, but we'll have destruction. Okay, so that will now start it off. So what we've got to do now also is we've got to make the building collapse and disappear. So when the timer is finished, allegedly the building's been blown up. So we're going to create a new logic connection saying when you are complete, this building has now blown up. So we're going to go over to our replayer tool, and we're going to go to our little setting here, and we'll say, right, look, we've blown the building up now, so can we clear the building? And that will now make the building disappear. Now at the same time, when that's finished, I want the rubble to appear afterwards. So can we create another logic connection with that and say, right, logic connection, when this has been completed, can we go to the another replayer, and on this replayer we actually, in this particular case, so let's go onto the connection there, press the square button, I would like the building to play back. So in that case, can we play back us building all those bricks? And that will do that particular job. So what last thing we've got to do, well, the last thing is that when we press that button, can we start the timer? But also, when you press that button, can you start the other timer as well? That will switch all the thing off after the building's been exploded. So can we start that delay? So those two are now ready to go. So let's put it to the test. Let's go up, press the button. We have 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. The building starts to blow with the thunder sound. Keeps on blowing until my 5 seconds is up and the building's collapsed. Now because it's quite a distance away, as I move closer you should see the rubble reappear. Well, it hasn't done yet, but if you move in, I'll just get a little bit closer. Let's have a look. And you see all the rubble has been left where the building's left. We've blown up the building. So what we can do is we can reset this. So if I go back to my controller, yeah, let's reset using our replayer. So let's reset the game. So clear our box. Let's put the building back in. So the building's now there on the screen. And let's try it one more time. Press the button. Count of 3. The building will now blow up. And hey presto, we've just blown up the Avengers Tower. That's just a way of adding effects to your game. I hope you enjoy the clip. Cheers for listening.